There's another protest tonight at 75 Calhoun Street over principal shakeups at Charleston County Schools. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Elizabeth Moffly. Elizabeth, it is so good to see you again.
Well, Quintin, it's really good to see you as well. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Catch me up about what's going on in your life right now.
I had a root canal.
Wow, really?
That was fun.
I had one like back in 2005, still sitting here.
No, things been pretty quiet. My daughter's off in Roatan, Honduras, getting her dive masters. And so she'll be 22 on the 26th.
Wow.
My sister's coming to visit. I'm not looking forward to the summer heat.
Oh, yes. It's very humid out here now.
It is, so.
Oof. Speaking of heat, let's go across the street here to 75 Calhoun.
I'd love to go over there. I'm going soon.
You're right, exactly. As a matter of fact, this headline from the Post-Inquiry reads this: Principal at James B. Edwards Elementary announces resignation in protest of district decisions. Of course, Paul Bowles of Post-Inquiry wrote this article, and he said the following quote: The principal of James B. Edwards Elementary plans to resign amid a growing furor about teacher evaluations and the shuffling of administrators in the Charleston County School District. Tell me why now.
That's a good question. Unfortunately for our communities, which you know, we are the second largest community in the state of South Carolina school district, and we have three of the largest cities, being North Charleston, the city, and Mount Pleasant, and then we have 27 municipalities. And you know, I feel the district is too big to be managing a district of this size, but at the same time, we have a superintendent who is not from here, does not understand the communities, and the board has given her the executive decision-making without any collaboration or communication, and she just made an executive decision with no stakeholders included. And I think that's upset a lot of people. So if you're just going to use test scores to determine performance, I think it's the wrong tool. I think it's important to understand, you know, where your students are and how much they achieve in a year, but the test that they're using requires a lot of teacher input, which they didn't get a chance to do.
Jake Rambo, he sent a resignation letter to the Charleston County School District recently. He said the following quote: After nearly 10 years in CCSD, it is apparent that I now have a fundamental philosophical difference with its leadership. Obviously, he'll be resigning as principal on June 30th. Take me to June 30th, because I'm wondering, what will be the future of James B. Edwards Elementary in your mind?
Well, you know, it's you know, it's a pretty diverse population, student body, probably in Mount Pleasant one of the most diverse.
Right.
And they need strong leadership, and you can't just, he's only been there 2 years.
Right.
And you need to have community relations, which he did have. There are so many factors going into a community and a school and understanding the culture, and it becomes a family for everybody included. And so by removing someone who is well liked, I think is disappointing.
The article goes on to say this, and this is from the Post-Inquiry quote: Meanwhile, teachers have been protesting against a new teacher evaluation system that is largely, if not entirely, based on students' standardized test scores. Obviously, at the rally in front of the district's headquarters on May 8th, teachers accused district leaders of lying about the evaluation standards and the reasons for placing teachers on professional growth plans. So what is your definition of professional growth plans?
Unfortunately, the way this evaluation was implemented without any input or collaboration, you're getting false negatives because teachers need to have a positive environment, students need a positive learning environment, and I'm anti-standardized test scores. I believe all of our children are unique individuals with different strengths and weaknesses, and a standardized test does not take that into account.
And as you know, right across the street here in a few minutes, they'll have another protest against what's going on at 75 Calhoun. Tell me this, Elizabeth. What do you want Dr. Jarita Postwaite and the school board really to listen to when they hear this protest?
Well, for Dr. Postwaite, she, you know, if she has 5 votes, she gets to do what she wants. For the board, unfortunately, they sometimes forget who they represent. They were elected to represent their constituencies, and when you have such unrest amongst so many districts about this evaluation, I think they need to step back and do the collaboration, have stakeholder meetings, have input, and have a better, fair, and balanced evaluation.
What letter grade would you give the Charleston County School Board and really Dr. Joey to poster rate right now?
Enough. I made a poster with enough for my protest.
Right. What brought you to the F?
The failure to communicate. You know, if you look at policies in Charleston County School District, you don't want a disruptive learning environment, and people get in trouble for disrupting the learning environment.
Right.
And that you need to have effective and positive communication and open lines of, you need transparency, and teachers don't mind being held accountable,
Right.
but they also want to feel like they're appreciated. And the district, unfortunately, has always been on the punitive side instead of the corrective side.
Silly question. What is the biggest difference between Dr. Nancy McGinley and Dr. Jarita Postway in your mind, as far as leadership?
Nancy would take smaller steps. She would not outrage the whole community at one time. Like, so she went in the front door with the evaluations, which were not going over well, and she had specific schools as, you know, to try it. And it was not working, and of course this board
Right.
got rid of that evaluation process because it was a value added, meaning that you got bonuses or money, but that money was coming from the federal government, which I was against this grant. It was pretty significant, $24 million. And so to be able to give the bonuses, they had that grant, but once the grant was gone, how are you going to give bonuses? There was no money for bonuses, so it was not a self-sustaining income source.
Elizabeth Moffly, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Well, Quintin, it's always good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.